Today, I want to talk about another prominent medical creator being investigated by an ethics committee for social media posts. I first talked about the role of these organizations in policing the online activities of doctors in this video on Jordan Peterson a few years ago. We'll talk more about him a bit later. But today, this time is Dr. Anthony Youn, a well-known plastic surgeon from Detroit. And recently he shared his experience of being investigated by his medical society due to a light-hearted TikTok video.
I'm being investigated by the ethics committee, and if it goes poorly, I could lose my license.
First, let's talk about the stakes here. Dr. Youn has been practicing for 20 years, has built an exceptional reputation, and has a massive online following. Despite all this, a single complaint from a non-patient about a misinterpreted TikTok can put all of this in jeopardy. And it's worth pointing out that doctors are held to a much higher standard when it comes to our public content, and rightly so. As healthcare professionals, our words and our actions, whether in the operating room, online, or in our communities, carry significant weight. But here's the rub. How do we balance maintaining our professionalism with the freedom to express ourselves and be creative, especially in spaces like YouTube Shorts and TikTok, where humor and relatability often drive engagement? This brings us to the role of medical colleges and societies in supervising their members' online presence. These organizations exist to uphold ethical standards and protect public trust, but they're also navigating uncharted waters when it comes to social media. None of these platforms existed when these organizations were first formed, and their role and responsibilities here are rightfully being debated. It's not hard to see why adjudicating these cases is challenging. Think about it. How many members of an ethics committee have the social media experience or reach of a Dr. Youn? Or someone like Dr. Jordan Peterson, who's currently undergoing mandatory retraining as part of a professional disciplinary process? Probably none. These are massively prominent individuals. This is an important issue. The people judging these complaints often lack the firsthand knowledge of what it's like to manage a massive online following, dealing with trolls, or navigate that fine line between professional and personal branding. And this disconnect can lead to questionable decisions.
The Supreme Court has just ruled that it will not hear an appeal on a case involving retired clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson. The college ordered him to undergo social media training or potentially lose his license.
Now let's address the broader question. Is it positive that doctors are on social media creating content and potentially expressing controversial opinions? Platforms like YouTube and TikTok are powerful tools for education and advocacy, and they play a role in demystifying healthcare, which is certainly what I try to do here on this channel. And if legitimate medical professionals don't post content, the vacuum will be filled by charlatans and snake oil salesmen. But posting is a double-edged sword. Dr. Youn's case is a prime example of how humor and relatability can backfire. It's a reminder that even when our intentions are good, not everyone will interpret our content the same way. And unfortunately, it only takes one misinterpretation to spark an investigation that could spiral out of control. Like this case, clearly he was trying to communicate his advocacy towards patients, but it was also interpreted as maybe being a bit aggressive towards partners that might be involved in the patient's decision-making when it comes to their healthcare choices.
And then I received a very surprising call, and he said, "I'm the guy who lodged the ethics complaint against you." Well, it turns out the man lodged the complaint many months ago, and he told me that he was in a really bad place in his life. He didn't realize that this complaint was taken seriously until he randomly saw my TikTok video, and once he realized that this complaint was going to actually hurt somebody, me, he knew that he had to take it back.
On the flip side, we can't ignore the courage it took for the complainant to come forward, admit his mistake, and retract the complaint. However, just because a complaint is redacted doesn't mean the investigation should be automatically dismissed. It's entirely possible that the widespread attention brought to the situation, such as Dr. Youn's decision to make a TikTok about the complaint, could have pressured the complainant to backtrack. And this raises an important question about whether Dr. Youn's public handling of the situation itself warrants scrutiny as a potentially questionable action. So where does this leave us? I think medical societies need to evolve their frameworks for handling social media complaints. This starts by having clear social media policies that their members can reference and follow. And when a complaint is investigated, this should include real experts with experience of building and maintaining a large online presence themselves. At the same time, doctors, myself included, have to remember that our social media posts don't exist in a vacuum. They can inspire, educate, or they could inadvertently offend. Holding ourselves to a higher standard isn't just an expectation, it's part of the trust we've earned as medical professionals. Dr. Yoon's situation is a reminder of how quickly things can escalate in our current digital age. But it's also a chance for us, doctors, societies, and even followers to reflect on what fairness and accountability look like in this new frontier. So, what do you think? Should medical societies have more say in what doctors post online, or do you think this kind of oversight goes too far? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you see here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I appreciate every single one of your interactions. And until next time, keep your scalpel sharp and have a great day. Keep your scalpel sharp. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why I put that in there. Scalpels should always be sharp. They're in a package. They're brand new every time. Nah, I'll keep it anyway.